Hi there guys, welcome to day 4 of the month of Retrobrown. We are doing today with a Typhlosion only run. First starter Pokemon or starter evolution that we have done on this channel for Johto yet. And it's, to be fair, this is probably the best fire type you're going to find in Gen 2, apart from the likes of the Legendary. So let's get started with the run. We've got a 5-3-4 base stat total, which is mostly evenly spread. We've got fantastic speed, we've got fantastic special attack, which in Gen 2, this is going to be very, very welcomed. So we need to replace Cyndaquil with Typhlosion, which means that our rival is going to then be taken on a Totodile. Because we start off with likes of Tackle, Leer, Smokescreen and Ember, we've got a fantastic moveset for this early game. Ember, of course, is our main move, and we're going to just alternate between the likes of Tackle and Ember until we actually get other moves, really. The only other move we're really going to focus on getting, we want to get Flame Wheel as quick as possible, but this isn't where Typhlosion's moveset differs. We actually get some fantastic moves on TMs, and we get the likes of everything from Iron Tail, we get Earthquake, we get Dig, we get Fire Blast, we get Thunder Punch, we get Fire Punch. We have got an insane moveset to make our way through Johto. This brings us on to Falconer, where we take barely any damage at all. This is our first attempt, and you just can't do anything to match up to the power of Typhlosion. We take the win at level 12, and we move straight on to Bugsy, which should be the easiest matchup that we will have in this entire run. So, we are going to go to the Slowpoke well, of course, and we need to do that challenge. I go into this fight, and this is not going to be a problem whatsoever, really, as well. Typhlosion is just tearing through this entire run. And then we have Kurt come in, and we move on to Bugsy. So, Bugsy has a Metapodic Kakuna and a Cypher, but not one of these Pokemon can stand up to the might of Typhlosion's Ember. We take the first two Pokemon down without any problem whatsoever, and Cypher hits a quick attack, so we do take some damage and he tanks his Ember. So that means 2 hits from Ember will be more than enough to take him down, and we take a very comfortable win. It gives us Fury Cutter, but of course it's not a move that we can learn, so... Oh no, we can learn Fury Cutter. I was lying. But we don't even need it. Attack is not our best stat. We really want to be focusing more into that special attack. And Ember will take down the Ghastly in 1. His Croconaw comes out, and this is why we wanted just Tackle still. We didn't want to put Fury Cutter in our moveset because we're actually not doing too well. We have Smokescreen, which is definitely a more useful move, I would say. It reduces their accuracy down, but unfortunately does get a Water Gun through, so that was bad planning on my part, really. Really should have started off with the Smokescreens. And here, we're just going to use pretty much the same strategy, but we will utilise Smokescreen a little bit more. So, we're going to start off while we've got full HP using Smokescreens, and already he is not hitting us. He goes for a Rage, which it can be a bit problematic if his attack does keep going up. But we are really getting low on HP here. But thankfully, one Water Gun miss brings us into the final Zubat. And I misclicked on Leer here, but not a problem whatsoever. 2 Embers will be more than enough to take it down. Move up to level 21, and we learn Quick Attack. But we're not going to learn it. Well, yeah, we are. We'll get rid of Leer. I don't really need it. So let's move on to Whitney. Whitney should be an interesting one. The Miltank has got Rollout, which is a super effective move for us. So while we're in Ilex Forest, let's pick up Headbutt so we've got a more powerful move than Tackle. And we'll see how we do. It's going to be a few more levels now before we can get Flame Wheel. So to be fair, right now Headbutt is our best point of call for attacking. Annoyingly, the Clefairy hits a Metronome Rollout. Of all things. So we're going to go for Ember, see if we can get the burn. But, again, Smokescreen, I should have been using that from the start. If she can miss her rollouts, that's a better position for us to be in. So we're going to try the same strategy, but we will, again... Oh, we get trapped by Whirlpool. That Metronome is hitting some pretty good moves at the moment. So, yeah, we'll start off with Smokescreen again, and then we get attracted. Which is annoying because that now means that we're at a disadvantage. We can't. Some of the attacks we're not going to be able to hit because we're infatuated. We're going to hit the Ember, hopefully get the burn. We don't on 2 attacks, but Smokescreen is playing its part. She uses Milk Drink, which is not good for us because she will use that whenever our HP gets low. It's a very trolly move when you don't have moves that can OHKO them. And she starts hitting her stomps. Again, we are infatuated. This battle is drawn out and she keeps using Milk Drink. And I just can't get through that attraction. And Stomp finally takes us down. So that's 2 losses to Whitney. One thing I've found in these solo runs, if you are going through with a female Pokemon, you have a much better chance of getting through quite quickly. Smokescreen, of course, we need to be using it before she even sets up the attracts. And as you can see, it's already starting to play into effect. We've got 4 Smokescreens set up, and then we're going to start Embering where we get the crit. Stomp still hits through all of that smoke, but we take the win after quite a lot of trial and error. She refused to give us the badge again until she's had a little cry, and then we go to pick up Dig in the national park. That means that we've now got the perfect move to go against Morty. Dig is ground type move. It's got, 80 power in Gen 2. Ember will still take out the Ghastlies, but when it comes to the likes of the Haunter, we need a bit more firepower. So Dig will one-shot that Haunter. We also outspeed all of his Pokemon at this stage as well. And that means we can get those hits in without taking any damage whatsoever. When the final Haunter comes out, he goes for a mean look. He just knows that we're going to win. And there is the 4th badge. Usually Morty is one of the harder trainers to go against. In this circumstance, he really isn't. We can then go speak to Jasmine in the lighthouse, and she sends us on tax to Cyanwood to get some medicine. While we're there, we meet up with Chuck and we decide, I want your badge, let's go for it. We do have a problem with one of his Pokemon being that Poliwrath, but we now have Flame Wheel on our move roster, so we've got a much more powerful Stab Fire move to use. And Dig is probably our best player here, even though it doesn't do too much. We get put to sleep, and for some reason he starts not using Surf until that point. We are confused, we are put to sleep, we will take the loss here. But it's definitely doable at this level. So, we're going to start off with Flame Wheel as last time. Karate Chop does decent damage, but it's not enough to really make us worry. Poliwrath comes out, and to be fair, Headbutt is still one of the better moves to be using because of that flinch chance. He gets 2 flinches, and we take no damage from the Poliwrath, taking the win quite easily. It means we can then go back over to Olivine, we can give the Ampharos the medicine, and try our luck against Jasmine. Now, considering she's a Steel-type trainer, we're a Fire-type Pokemon, this will probably be one of the easiest Jasmine fights I will ever have on this channel. Steelix, of course, it can tank 1 Flame Wheel, which is not that good. But, even at level 34, it's not much of a problem for us. Lastly is the Magnemite, and we outspeed and Flame Wheel it into the ground. That's how many badges now? 6 gym badges? And that just leaves us with Price. But before we even go to Price, we need to go to the Lake of Rage. We need to beat up this red Gyarados because apparently it's got a colour differentiation. Colour differentiation, I have no idea what the proper word is for that. And it does give it a little bit of a hard time, but because it's not a real Gyarados, we take it out. And we talk to this random guy that's just stood by the lake, and he asks us to help us with an investigation he's doing. When we finally find him again, he hyper beams this random guy that we've just walked in to see. And we find ourselves in a rocket base where Jubbles bumps into us again. That means we can then take out everyone that's here because we're a bit of a masochist in that way. And we're not really going to have too much of a problem against this guy. We've got a massive Typhlosion towering over his Pokemon. And he just decides to take the loss. Not one of his Pokemon can stand up to the might of Typhlosion in this run. And he calls for his dad Giovanni. We get the password, and then we're ambushed by 2 more Rockets who think that double teaming us will work. Luckily, Lance, the guy we met earlier, comes back in, and his Dragonite starts taking on the other guy, which means we've got one of the admins to have a little play with. And she's not really much of a problem whatsoever. Flame Wheel is tearing through all of their team. We take the easy win. And that is pretty much this part of the Rocket side quest done. But that means that also Lance decides we should now go and just attack some random electrodes. I don't see a problem with this, so we go and take out some electrodes. Once we've finished decimating the electric population of Mahogany Town, We cut off all of their electricity. We then go against Price, who seems pretty pissed off at that. So we're going to beat him up and take his badge. That's right. We are going to beat up an old man and take his badge. Yeah, I've said that. I'm in a weird mood today, if you guys have not been able to tell with my commentary. With his Dugong, it actually does give us a bit of a problem. That leads us on to the Paraswine, which is weak to fire-type moves. We've got one last Flame Wheel PP to take it out though. That's 7 badges, and that leads us on to the rest of the Rocket side quest. So, the Rocket side quest is my least favourite part of the entire Gen 2 game. It does give us another chance to go against our rival and see how we're going to do before the Elite Four comes in. And, to be fair, it's not really that much of a problem. We have also picked up Thunder Punch as one of our moves, and that is more than enough to deal with his Feraligatr. We're level 44 here. This is definitely one of the lowest levels we've been to be able to get to this point in the game since probably the Lugia run. Lugia? Yeah, that's the way you pronounce it. And we've got such a stacked roster of moves, we are not going to worry whatsoever. We are going to worry when we get to Lance later on because we don't have any super effective moves, but you know what? I don't think we need to worry. We're going to go and beat up the Rockets one last time and put them back into hiding. So this guy has a Houndour, a Coffin, and a Houndoom. Not really any of them are going to be a problem when we've got Dig on our move roster. It's super effective against all of his Pokemon, pretty much a one-shot each time. And really on the Houndoom is the biggest threat, even though it's not really that much of a threat. It goes down in 1. We move on to the final gym leader, which of course is Claire. And this will give us a good chance to figure out how we're going to get past Lance later. So, we're going to move back through, go to Blackthorn, and Claire is going to give us a bit of a challenge here. We do go into this fight paralysed, and that gives them a chance to surf us, which is not good. We're very weak to water-type moves. Kingdra, of course, it does have surf, and it does big damage. So yeah, I definitely need to go back into this not paralysed. But as we know with her gym, every single trainer loves to paralyse you. But when we're not paralysed, we can use Return to take out the Dragonairs in one hit. We're going to use Thunder Punch against the Kingdra. It's not super effective, but it does do quite a lot of damage. So critical hit Surf. Maybe Return's definitely the better place to be using against that Kingdra. Let's see how we do this time round. Third time lucky. Come on, guys. So Return is nearly a one-shot on Dragonair. That's unusual. Must be in damage range. And we're doing half damage on Return. She goes for Smokescreen. Perfect scenario. And that leaves just 2 Dragonairs which are cowering in front of us. They're trying to Thunderbolt their way through. They're trying to paralyze us. Either way, they're going to go down. And we've got more than enough HP to take out each and every one of them. Dragon Breath does quite a bit of damage, but the same results the same. She has a little paddy, sends us off to go and grab a Dragon Fang. And then once we found it, still doesn't seem happy that we've gone and found it and completed a task. But she gives us the TM for Dragon Breath, which we cannot use. So it's going to get sold. A little bit more money for the Pokemon League. Brings us on to the rival in Victory Road. Now we have picked up Earthquake. Earthquake, again like it was in the previous run. Fantastic move to be using, but we don't really have a need for it in this fight. We're going to use Thunder Punch on the Feraligatr, and we're still not one-shotting it, even though we're 14 levels above. That brings out the Golbat, of course, which is weak to Thunder Punch. And it goes down in 1 hit. Haunter is next. We're going to go for Dig. He misses his Shadow Ball and is promptly taken down. We've only got 2 Pokemon left, a Kadabra and then the Magneton. The Magneton, of course, is cowering in the back, so it knows that that Flame Wheel is coming. But we're going to go for Dig this time. Throw it off course. Either way, the result is the same. We take the win, and we move on to the Pokemon League. First up, of course, is Will, the Psychic-type trainer, who starts off with a Xatu. And this shouldn't be too much of a bad fight. We've got Thunder Punch, which is a super effective move. And it goes down in 1. Next up, of course, is the Slowbro, and again, Thunder Punch will be more than enough to take this thing out. In 2 hits, of course, it is quite a bulky Pokemon, and with that, we force him to bring out his Xatu. He's keeping his Exeggutor in the back and his Jinx because he doesn't want him to get burned. So we're going to use Flame Wheel against the Exeggutor. It is a one-shot KO, and Jinx is up next. So we're going to beat up this old lady and take the win without losing any HP on our first attempt. This is a very good start of the Elite Four. And next up is Koga, where he has got a lot of Pokemon weak to fire type moves. He laughs in our face, and we decide, you know what, you're going down. Time to laugh in yours. Flame Wheel. 1 Ariados down. Next up is the Fortress. It's 4 times weak to fire. He's just throwing Pokemon at us right now, and not one of them is standing up to the might of Typhlosion. Dig is going to do big damage on the Muck, but not enough to take it out in one. So we're going to go for Return and hopefully not get poisoned. Next up is the Crobat, and it is weak to electric type attacks. Thunder Punch does more than enough with a critical hit to take it down, and that leaves only the Venomoth. Of course, Flame Wheel is our move of choice, and that is 2 Elite Four members without taking a single point of damage. That is all going to change in the Bruno fight though. We don't have anything super effective against Bruno. We've got like Dig and Earthquake for his Pokemon. If the Hitmontop digs underground, Earthquake can hit Pokemon that have dug underground. Up next is Onix. It is super effective if he uses a rock move, but he goes for Earthquake instead. More than enough bulk to be able to take it out. So we have taken some damage in this fight. Flame Wheel is going to do decent damage on the Machamp, and it's going to be a free hit KO. I really should have used a different move, and then he goes for Max Potion. So we're actually in a position where we could lose here. But the second Flame Wheel takes him out, and we're onto the Hitmonlee. Flame Wheel is going to do big damage. He misses his high jump kick and crashes. And that just leaves the Hitmonchan. Mach Punch does decent damage, but not enough to take us down. 3 Elite Four members, 3 first time wins. That brings us on to Karen. This is usually where I sometimes have a first time loss. We don't have any super effective moves. We're going to go for Flame Wheel because we have the stab bonus on it, and it's going to take it down in 2 hits. We have been hit by 1 sand attack, which is not great. Earthquake misses, of course, and that means the Gengar gets a curse on. We're now against the Clock, so we're going to go for Thunder Punch against the Murkrow. It's very defensively weak. And we're on to the Houndoom. So Earthquake, it's the one reason I wanted Earthquake in this run, because it's super effective against that Houndoom. Last up is Vileplume, and of course she's been keeping the plants in the back. And we take another win without losing any HP. We are looking very good right now. Not Lugia good, but very, very good right now. And this brings us on to the Flying type champion, Lance. I know he says he's a Dragon type trainer, but all of his Pokemon are Flying types, so I'm going to start calling him the Flying type champion now. Thunder Punch is the perfect move to be using against his Pokemon. We don't have any answers for his Dragonites, but at least we've taken out some of the major threats in Gyarados and Aerodactyl. We are losing a lot of HP now, we're paralysed, and we go up to level 57. Dragonite is now going to use Hyper Beam, and we do get our first loss of the Elite Four. I was kind of expecting that, considering he has a Gyarados and an Aerodactyl, but what can we really do? We go up to level 60 here, and now Thunder Punch is one-shotting the Gyarados. Is it one-shotting the Aerodactyl? It is as well, so we've got through 2 Pokemon without losing any HP. Now if we can hit this one... Yes, and we take it down. So we didn't get paralysed. We're onto the Dragonite now. We nearly get hit by Thunder Wave there. And last up, we have Charizard and his final Dragonite. Thunder Punch is perfect for the Charizard. But we're at full HP going into this final Dragonite. Return does near enough about half damage. He uses Hyper Beam. That gives us a chance to hit. He uses his Full Restore. Of course he uses his retroactive Full Restore. Gives him another chance to try and get a Hyper Beam in, but a Return takes him out. And that is the Pokemon League fully done with a Typhlosion and only 1 loss. What you're going to be even more impressed by, though, instead of just the level that we finished on, look at the time that we finished this on. This is going to be a good time. So, we finished the game in 4 hours, 3 hours 35 with Lugia. We finished in 3 hours 33 with Typhlosion. We beat Lugia by 2 minutes, but not by levels. It was about 9 levels worse. But still, that is a fantastic time to be beating the game on. And to date, our quickest run in Johto. I'm so happy with that. So that moves us on to Blue and Red. We've managed to get to Blue at just under 4.5 hours. And let's see how we do here. Level 68 now. And the Pidgeot goes down to 1 Thunder Punch. Next up is Rhydon. We know Earthquake is super effective, and it's going to be a 2-hit, and he does set up the Sandstorm, which does not help us out whatsoever. Next up is Gyarados. If he hits a super effective, or even a Hydro Pump here, this might not go our way, but Thunder Punch is 4 times effective, and we can take it down. That brings us on to the Alakazam. Very defensively weak Pokemon, so as long as we can outspeed, we can do big damage. Return hits first, and it's a one-shot. Leaving us on to the Arcanine. Sandstorm is just whittling away our HP here. It's literally the only damage they're doing to us this fight. It gets an extreme speed in, but of course, Earthquake is super effective. And that just leaves us with the Executor, who is very weak to our Flamethrower. Now we've picked it up at level 60. And Blue was beaten first time. Let's see how we do against Red. Now, I don't know if we're going to do this first time. I really don't know. So, let's see how we do. Pikachu is first, and of course it is weak to Earthquake. It's going to be a one-shot. And we get up to level 69. And Espeon is second. So that brings us to using Flamethrower. And she goes for a Reflect, which increases defense. Which means we're going to have to now rely on our special type moves. Thunder Punch is going to do big damage against the Blastoise, but not enough to take it down. With a Rain Dance, can it set it up? No, it's a Rain Dance boosted Surf, and that is a one-shot, so we take our first loss against Red. I think we need a few more levels. Yeah, let's go up a few more levels and let's see how we do. Earthquake, of course, we know takes down the Pikachu. Espeon is going to set up its Reflect, because it knows that we're going to go for some physical attacking moves. And what we need is those extra levels to give us enough to have Thunder Punch do half damage, because he will set up the rain on his first attempt. And we managed to get a good damage range to take him down on the second Thunder Punch. Snorlax is next, and because the Reflect is still up, we went for Flamethrower and get the lucky burn. Now that Reflect is down, we can switch back to using Return. Body Slam's not doing very much on us. We do have decent bulk in our defense. And that brings us on to Charizard, which is weak to Thunder Punch. There's no rain up, there's no sun up. We're in a very good position here. Wing Attack gets a critical hit. Of course it does. It always gets a critical hit. And that brings us on to the last Pokemon, which is Venusaur, which will go down to a Flamethrower. And there's Red. We have beaten the entire game with Typhlosion at a pretty decent level, I've got to admit. But what time do we actually finish on? We're at 4.5 hours when we were at Blue. Let's see what moves we finished with. So we finished with the 4 moves: Flamethrower, Earthquake, Return, and Thunder Punch. A pretty good moveset overall. We got a very good special attack that we finished on. And we finished the game in 4 hours 42 minutes. That's a quick time. It's very, very quick time. Lugia finished the game in 4 hours 52. We've beaten Lugia's post-game time as well. Yes, we're a higher level, but this is hands down our quickest Johto run, and you've witnessed it here today during the month of Retrobrown. That leads us on to what's going to come up in 2 days' time on the wheel. Let's spin and see what we come up with. So first up we have Feraligatr. Considering we've just done a evolution of the first starter Pokemon for this region, nah, I'm not going to go with Feraligatr. Next up is Scizor. Yeah, Scizor should be really fun, unless we get something that's really going to be out there. What are we going to get? Marill. Come on guys, I'm a masochist. You know I'm going to go for Marill here. We're going to do a Marill run, see how we do. And we'll be back in a couple of days for that Marill video. Of course, you got to this point in the video, smash that like and subscribe, you legends. And we'll see you in 2 days for the Marill run. But tomorrow you've got another Kanto run to look forward to. Enjoy.